Hello, welcome to another video. Today we're gonna be covering Bryan Mbeumo. So it's looking like Manchester United are finally going to bite the bullet and pay what Brentford were asking for, which is £70 million altogether for Bryan Mbeumo. I think 65 million rising to 70 million. Uh, Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of this transfer, of this signing for Man United. I think there were definitely better options. We've seen better options move already, in one in Mohamed Kudus for less money. I think he would even suit Man United's system better than Mbeumo in that right 10 position. We already have Amad Diallo there, uh, who in my opinion is a better footballer than Mbeumo. But yeah, I mean, Casey, what are your thoughts on this transfer about looking at this compilation?
Yeah, I think, it's taken a long time. All of that, it doesn't make United look very competent because we ended up paying exactly what we wanted, Brentford were asking for at the beginning. I just think, yeah, there's better on the market. I see him as a player who's good at the final action. He's a good finisher, can deliver good balls into the box. He's got pace, and he's going to be quite effective on the counter attack in certain situations.
Yeah.
But it's the all round game for me. Like he's a solid all rounder, but what United lack in their midfield, especially in this system, and how it all fits together is more my issue. Rather than him as a player, I think it's how it all fits together.
Mm,
That's what I have
yeah.
doubts about.
Well, let's see if this video can clear any of our doubts. Maybe we're missing something from his game, even though you've seen him in the Premier League. We've been seeing him in the Premier League for the last 3, 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's see.
He loops it across goal. Tadibo gets his head to it. West Ham struggling to get out.
Yeah, man, he's got tech definitely. Like he can score in the box. Very dangerous in the box. Good
Mm-hmm.
finisher. Okay, okay,
That's nice.
okay. Basic dribbling. Oh, nice.
He is one of those guys who has quite good close control. That's
Hmm.
one thing I'll say. Is he seems to usually be in control of. He's actually not chasing his pass much, or
Yeah.
he's chasing his touch much. Sorry. Yeah, it's
No.
great technique on that.
Yeah. Great technique. Great technique. 26 years old.
Mm-hmm. And you see, this a clip like this is important because this is roughly where he's going to be playing for United, more in
Yeah.
the central areas, right? And I think he can pick the ball up. I think he can pick the ball up and just be, uh, you know, he's if we compare to the guys who were playing there last season, he can actually play there. He can
Hmm.
actually keep the ball a bit, start in central areas, and even though there's not crazy space in front of him, he can do the basics a bit better than guys like Garnacho.
Okay. So, do you think this signing could transform the team from how we were playing last season? Because we've already signed Cunha. Will this signing take us to another level from the Cunha signing? Because obviously last season, our two tens, they were switching and changing a lot because the manager didn't really know what he wanted from them. Ended up, I'll say, being Garnacho and
Bruno
Bruno
sometimes,
sometimes, Ahmad
yeah,
sometimes. But yeah, he didn't really know. He wasn't too sure on it, but it's looking like it's gonna be Mbeumo and Cunha this season.
yeah.
You think that's a big upgrade, and is that really gonna, take us to where we belong?
I think so. I mean, just showing, just talking about some of these clips. He is working hard here. So these are all elements that you know we we can think about it and think, okay, is he going to suit playing in that right 10 role? Yes, I think he does himself.
Mm.
However, as looking at the whole team picture, yes, I think Mbeumo and Cunha would add something. In fact, they add a lot because if we're comparing to where we were at the end of last season, we were a relegation side or a team that just about stayed up in the Premier League. That was the level of form we were showing for
Mm.
pretty much all of Amarim's reign. So, yes, obviously, I think we can improve on that. But as a whole, the team still doesn't work. There's no balance. There's no way I look at it and go, this 11 can, over a 38 game season, do enough, be in control enough of games. And when I say control, it doesn't mean possession. It means just being able to execute your game plan and deal with the other team's game plan at the same time.
Yeah.
That's football at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's how you become successful at football.
Yeah.
And there's too many holes, and I can't see a plan that works when you add Mbeumo and Cunha to it.
So you don't think those two signings cover those holes?
They do. They are much better than Garnacho in that role. They're much better than Bruno in that role, and that's important because Bruno, player of the season, all that stuff. But when he's dragged to wide areas, he can't do anything.
Yeah.
He can't dribble. He can't just do anything. He's very limited. He ends up just passing the ball, even if it's not the good option.
Yeah. Okay.
This is good. This is good quality. That whole action, he stood the player up, and he was efficient.
Yeah.
Great finisher.
In the final third, very good. One of the probably better forwards in the league in the final third.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he'll definitely bring something to the team in that sense. But in terms of contributing to the build-up play, I don't think he brings that much. He does what he does. He's quite intelligent. He's not gonna lose the ball too much. Not gonna make bad decisions too many times. But for me, he's a player who's most effective in the final third, and that doesn't necessarily help the majority of our issues.
Yeah, but we didn't score enough goals, right?
But we didn't get the ball to the final third.
That was the big issue. That was more of the issue.
Yes, everyone was talking about Højlund this, Højlund that. The guy was barely touching the ball in every game he was playing. Like, what do you expect him to do?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the average Man U fan kind of left last season thinking about some of the poor play that they'd seen from Garnacho and Højlund. But when you compare us to, and I'm not talking about the big teams here, the teams that qualify for the Champions League. I'm talking about Brighton. When you compare us to Fulham, on a week in, week out basis, our forwards weren't getting quality chances as often as their forwards, and that might seem hard to believe, but it's true. And yes, Højlund and Garnacho, they could have been more efficient, 100%. And I think these two would be more efficient than those guys.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sure. I agree with that.
So in those situations that they were messing up sometimes last season, these guys should be much better, much more efficient, and that should help us in some way.
Yeah, but how much is it going to help us?
Yeah, that's the question.
It might help us beat the bottom teams more comfortably. Get a couple more draws in there,
Yeah, because we'll be more threatening on the counter attack, right?
Yeah.
When we do get those opportunities, you'd hope maybe we take more of them. But the truth is, we weren't creating enough to be a team that could compete at the top of the table.
Yeah.
And if you think you were, you need to watch the teams close to the top of the table.
Do you think Mbeumo and Cunha works behind the strikers we currently have at the club? So behind the Højlund or behind the Xerxes?
Yeah. I think they could work with them. I think they can link up well. If it's a Xerxes, whose main attributes are playing with his back to goal, one-touch play, he's not someone who can travel the ball very well, and he's not really a finisher either.
Yeah.
But I think they could link up with him well, and Mbeumo would be the outlet in that system, right? He'd be more the guy getting in behind, and I think he can do that effectively. If it's a Højlund, it would be a bit different, and Mbeumo would probably have to receive the ball deeper and be playing balls through to Højlund making runs.
Is that where we would want him though?
Not really. That's not really his game. And if you are going to do that, your point about Ahmad being more suited, Ahmad is much better in between the lines than Mbeumo. There's no doubt about that. He's more creative.
Yeah.
He's a better dribbler.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think he definitely brings something to the team. £70 million worth. I'm
Yeah,
not too sure
I,
about
I,
that.
I can't see how this needed to be the priority. That's my main issue, I think, with the signing.
Mm.
Um,
And why is that? Do you think
yeah,
we already have? Uh, oh yeah, like we've already mentioned Ahmad.
yeah.
We already have
Like
him.
these clips of, in terms of the quality of the finishing, he can put it in the top corner. He's just got a great left foot,
Yeah.
essentially.
Let's talk a bit about Ahmad and why um you would go against this signing. So obviously this would force Ahmad to play as a wing back, right?
Hmm.
Do we think we are getting the best out of him as a wing back?
There are games, okay, on the assumption that we were controlling games against teams at the bottom of the league. It might be nice to have Ahmad as a wing back, and he could be really dangerous. And if we, because what happens is, if we can control a game to the situation where our wing backs are very high up and they're receiving the ball high up,
Yeah.
rather than deep where a fullback pretty much receives it. In those situations, having someone like Ahmad on your right wing back position is great, and he can link up with Mbeumo well, and we could just dominate teams on the right side. It'll be really hard to defend.
Hmm.
But I think people and Ruben Amorim, he's very much underestimating how difficult that will be to get regularly.
Yeah.
You know, like he is he is assuming that we, with those three centre backs and two centre mids, will have enough to be able to be successful in our build up play and get it to Ahmad high up on the pitch. And
Yeah.
that's the only way it's going to work. Otherwise, you got Ahmad picking up the ball outside his own box, things like that all the time, and defending at his back post, all that stuff. It's
I think Ahmad's gonna have to be the wing back who's coming deep a lot of the time.
yeah, exactly.
Because let's like the midfield is just is
Yeah,
they can't keep the ball.
and he's likely to be playing next to Bruno. Bruno is
Yeah.
the right centre mid, and that there is the reason I know it's not going to work. I, I don't really have to wait and see if Ahmad right wing back and Mbeumo right 10 and Bruno right centre mid is going to work over a 38 game season. I know the answer, it's not going to.
Mm.
And that just makes me question, what is the plan here? Is that really what Amorim thinks is going to be the thing that takes us to the next level? Because if he does, he's going to lose his job quite quickly.
Mm. I mean, I don't think he'll lose his job, to be honest. I think anything better than if he can get top 10, and if it looks like we're gonna be in the top 10, they're not gonna sack him because the standards have fallen to a resounding level at
Yeah,
his club.
I think you're right there.
Even after spending 65 on Cunha, 70 on Mbeumo, who else looks like does it look like we're gonna bring in the door?
Oh, right. No, it's just those. I
But
think
even
we
still,
haven't got any more money unless we sell players, man.
that's 135 million,
Mm-hmm.
and all they're expecting from that is top 10. Really,
Yeah.
I don't know what these guys are trying to do with this club. Honestly,
Yeah.
like when you spend 135 million pound on two players, these two players should be taking you to challenging for Europe at least.
Well, they should at least be changing the team. Like they in the situation we were in, how badly we were playing, they should at least be changing the team. I don't know if that would have been enough to get Europe, honestly. If we got things perfect and we had made some other drastic changes, like in my opinion, selling Bruno, I think we both agree on that, then yes, we could talk about Europe and stuff. But I'm not sure any players would have been enough to get Europe in those two. If we signed players in those positions, with knowing that Bruno's going to be playing right centre mid, I don't think it really matters. I don't think there's a player out there that like Kudus. He would have helped more, but I don't think over the course of the season it would have been enough. Having Bruno behind him and Ahmad right wing back, I still think all the weaknesses are there, in build up play and all that. So
Yeah.
it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that does a lot with not much. He doesn't need to go right, left. He seems to be quite smart with his actions. Efficient. That's the word that comes to mind with him in Mbeumo.
Yeah.
And that's very important, you know.
Yeah, he did. He was like, I think he did get the. He got 20 goals with an XG of, was it 9 goals last season?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, which
Okay.
is
I
just
mean, five of
crazy.
them were penalties. But that's still, it shows how efficient he is. It's almost a bit worrying because as while I do say he's efficient, I don't expect him to be getting as many of these opportunities at Man U. Honestly, I really don't. And I think I think a lot of the things people are saying when they're praising this signing seem to be, if he's getting this many goals at Brentford, how many is he going to get at United? But I think you're missing the point. Brentford is an easier team to score in as a forward than
Yeah,
Man United. If we're talking about the team we had, especially the second half of last season,
yeah.
you know.
And yeah, let's just end off with talking about, he's 26 years old. If this signing doesn't go to plan, there is pretty much no resale value. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it is a gamble in that sense. People are saying it's a sure thing because he's 26 years old and he scored 20 goals in the league last
In the
season
Premier League,
in the
Premier
Premier
League
League.
proven.
That doesn't mean anything to me. I'll be real with you, because playing for one team isn't the same as playing for another team. Tactics are different, coaching is different, positions are different on the pitch. The amount you're going to receive the ball in the box is going to be different. Ask our attackers how many times they receive the ball in the box.
Yeah.
Go check the stats. It
Mhm.
wasn't a lot compared to the amount of times they Mbeumo and Wissa were receiving the ball in the box for Brentford.
Yeah. So many of these clips, Mbeumo was receiving the ball where there's now one or two defenders in front of him and there's space.
Yeah,
So a lot of the work is already done.
exactly.
Whereas you look at the goals Ahmad scored last season, whether it was from wing back or right wing, he was beating a few men. Maybe you have to play a 1-2 with someone.
Yeah,
He's doing it himself. He's taking players out of the game and finishing at the end of it.
yeah,
So it's way more difficult than what
than what
Mbeumo's
it
role was.
seems,
Yeah,
really. Than
yeah.
what it
I
seems.
I believe if Ahmad played for Brentford last season, he would have got at least as many goals. But even if it's not as many goals, Brentford would have finished higher in the
Yeah, yeah,
table.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
key.
Because he's a much better player.
Yeah.
He's a much better player. But
I even think someone like Garnacho in that Brentford team, 100%, he does way better. He scores a lot of goals.
mm,
But, it looks like it's happening now. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it seems like the deal's almost done. And I guess the next question will be what, what is the best we can hope for? And I
yeah.
guess maybe that's not a question for today, but we'll get to analyzing that
Yeah, well, let's just end
soon.
the video there. I hope you enjoyed that video. Like, subscribe, share, and yeah, take care.